there have always been dictators who want to work that way. You know, they want to accomplish a goal. If you got to kill some innocent people in the meantime, oh well. You know, if you have to blow up the Twin Towers to get your bill passed, you know, oh well, let's blow up the Twin Towers. Innocent people don't matter. Charles Wooster, who works for the Environmental Defense Fund, said, people are the cause of all the problems. We have too many of them. We need to get rid of some of them. Of course, he's not in the ones that need to go. And they were talking about banning DDT, which had some problems, of course, but was very effective at what it did. In the old days, they used to soak lumber in creosote. Anybody remember the old timers remember the creosoted poles? Man, and they used to put, what's the stuff they used to put around your house to get the termites out that they banned? It worked really well for termites, and anything that works good has been taken off the market, you know. Now you got to have stuff that brings them in. What termidor is what we use now, you know. It brings them in, and they eat it and go back to the hive or whatever the tribe and the colony and kill them. But here they were talking about banning DDT, and Wooster said, well, if we ban DDT, it will help lower the population of people. Interesting. Bill Clinton, spelled with a K intentionally there because of his communist leanings, Bill Clinton signed the Biodiversity Treaty in 1993, which says we must either reduce Earth's human population to 1 billion or reduce the standard of living to an agrarian peasant status. What are they trying to do? There are 6 billion people on the planet. They would like to reduce the population to 1 billion or make everybody a peasant. Because a farmer, you know, he doesn't have much impact on the ecology like a person driving a car, you know, and wanting actually hot water in their house, you know, and actually building a road. And, you know. The United States was divided up years ago to protect the biodiversity, you know, to protect the animals. And this map shows the proposed biodiversity impact. The red areas are for animals only. No humans allowed, period. The yellow areas are for buffer zones to protect the animals. You can go in the yellow area if you have a special pass. Green areas are for humans. It goes back to the animal rights, you know, mentality. Animals have rights. I agree. They taste really good on a hamburger, you know, you can... But that's the plan, anyway, to reduce the population close to, you know, to 500 million. Peter Singer, Princeton University professor, who I'd love to debate. I don't know if he's even still alive. I think he is. He said, Christianity is our foe. If animal rights is to succeed, we must destroy this Judeo-Christian religious tradition. Peter Singer, by the way, is trying to pass legislation that allows abortions after the baby's born. You have 28 days to decide if you want to keep it. Sounds like the Spartans, you know, 2,000 years ago. Are we going back to heathenism? Peter Singer gets his way, we will. A couple good websites about that if you want to see about Peter Singer's philosophy. Alan Gregg said, he works for the Rockefeller Foundation, the world has cancer and the cancer is man. Where do people get a dumb idea like this? The Bible says God created the world for you know, it's His world, but He created it for us. He gave us, you know, dominion over the earth. Prince Philip, who's the husband of Queen Elizabeth, and she's the one who invented the microwave. You know, goes like that. Think about it. You'll get it in about 20 minutes, okay? Prince Philip said, if I could be reincarnated, I would wish to return to Earth as a killer virus to lower human population levels. You say, man, that's terrible. Well, especially when you consider he's got a huge majority holding in ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, which is one of the largest food distributors in the world. Suppose you get a guy in charge of a company like that that decides, okay, we're going to quietly put everything into place, and at a given signal, everybody dump something into the food supply, and we're going to lower the population in less than a week. He's in a position to do it. You get a guy with a motive and a method, most courts are going to look at that as, well, this is a dangerous situation here. Yes, sir?
I was going to say, he just played it off as a virus.
Sure. Oh, the chicken flu, you know, killed everybody or whatever, you know. They'll have I'm sure they got a cover story. I mean, that's obvious. You got to have a cover story. It makes you stop and wonder, you know, what's really causing this? You need to go to billsardi.com if you want to see some of these new flus everybody's worried about, you know, all the fowl, the birds flying, dying off, you know, killing them off. Go to billsardi.com and read his website about that. Some of these viruses are deliberately being injected to lower the population. There's a great book I read a few months ago called Seeds of Deception, Genetically Engineered Foods. Monsanto Corporation, including right here in Pensacola, are they still in operation here in Pensacola? Monsanto? A big company for years, as far as I know they are. And many other companies, but primarily Monsanto, has tried to corner the market on food production with genetically modified foods. Now, they've been banned in Europe, but 70% of the foods eaten by U.S. consumers that are processed foods, okay, contain genetically modified. Go to Taco Bell, you get their tortilla, which has corn, which is genetically modified. What do? Well, they take the gene code and they modify. Here's what the goal is: to get the seed to already have the pesticide built in to the gene code. So as it grows, the animals won't eat it. So in Europe, as they started doing this genetically modified food, people started noticing the butterflies are dying off. The butterfly goes to suck the juice out of the flower like he's done all of his life, and all of a sudden he croaks. And so to save the butterflies, they banned the genetically modified food. Now, the fact that it kills people, oh well, you know. Here's an article from this page from this book, Seeds of Deception, which we sell, by the way, in our bookstore. It's not a Christian book. But in May 2003, President Bush proposed an initiative to end hunger in Africa using genetically modified foods. He also blamed Europe's unfounded, unscientific fears of these foods for hindering efforts to end hunger. Bush was convinced that GM food, genetically modified, held the key to greater yields, expanded U.S. exports, and a better world. His rhetoric is not new. It's been passed down from president to president and delivered to the American people through regular news reports and industry advertisements. The message was part of a master plan that has been crafted by corporations determined to control the world's food supply. Keep in mind, love of money, root of all evil. This was made clear in a biotech industry conference in '99, where a representative from Arthur Andersen Consulting Group explained how his company had helped Monsanto create that plan. First, they asked Monsanto what their ideal future looked like in 15 to 20 years. Monsanto executives described a world with 100% of all commercial seeds genetically modified and patented. Love of money, got to get a patent. Anderson then worked backward from that goal and developed the strategy and tactics to achieve it. They presented Monsanto with the steps and procedures needed to obtain a place of industry dominance in a world in which natural seeds were virtually extinct. Now think about it. For centuries, for all of human history, the farmer plants his corn, harvests the field, saves back part of his corn for seed for next year, right? That's normal. If you eat it all, now what are you going to plant next year? So there have been some companies whose full-time business is creating what's called seed corn. I grew up in the middle of Illinois, middle of corn country. Seed corn is grown all over there. So there are companies that all they do is plant, you know, thousands of acres of corn, not to eat, but for seed, for the next year's corn. So the farmer harvests his field, sells all his corn, goes and buys his seed for the next year. That way, because when you get hybrid corn, or hybrid anything, with the first generation you get your ultimate results. After that, it begins to go downhill again. You crossbreed, two special dogs and you get the super dog, but then after that it reverts back toward a mutt, within a few generations. So the farmers have learned, hey, let's just buy seed corn, which is, the first generation's always bigger, better, and we get more money, basically, more bushels, therefore, all goes back to love of money. Well, not only is Monsanto working to get seeds that only they